Warning, warning. This is a global ice out. Testing the right speaker. Right. Testing the left speaker. Left. Sound successfully recovered. Swan Commander. Connected. And now, the countdown has begun. And now, are you ready for a journey that goes beyond the norms? The Federal Prospects Hockey League just celebrated its 15th anniversary. With a footprint and fan base rapidly expanding, Swan Hockey is now bringing you behind the scenes. Beyond what you see at games. Beyond the arenas. Beyond the crowds. This is FPHL, Beyond the Glass.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass. I'm your host, Eric Swanwick, Swan Commander on social media. This is the official podcast of the Federal Prospects Hockey League, and this is part 2 of our 2-part series on the leaders of the FPHL. In part 1, we sat down with Commissioner Don Kirnan and Vice Commissioner Andrew Sarge Richards, and we discussed their background in hockey and their road and experience that led them to the creation of the FPHL. In part 2, we're going to continue that and bring us to present day in the FPHL. Let's go. With that said, I want to throw it back to you. So 17 years ago, you come up with this idea for the league. How'd you arrive at that idea? And then what was the steps to get it to materialize and then to get us to where we are today?
Well, I think it gets back to some of the players that I saw that were left out of the some of the things that made the left out of the guys that made the NHL. Again, we had players that were drafted in the NHL that did not play. In the NHL, they played either in the AHL or the East Coast League or Europe. So we looked at, a history of, a couple dozen of those players. Sarge made the right decision, getting involved with his 2 boys and moving. He forgot to mention that both of his boys were drafted in the NHL, and both of his boys played minor league hockey, but the AHL, East Coast League, and other coached and so on in other pro leagues. So basically, we looked at what we could do from our organizational skills. I had the experience of being on the junior council with Sarge for many years. We saw that there was by USA Hockey, they decided to kind of abandon the old Empire League and the old NCDC, and they went a different path. So I was involved with that league until we did merge it. So we thought that there was a opportunity with our experience to be able to direct players. The biggest problem, like Sarge said, is the size of the buildings, how we've evolved. Our initial reaction was to take players and go into communities that had lost their team or never had a team, to try to create a place for them to play that was entertaining. It was always the best team that the town had, and look for opportunities that way. And one thing led to another, and obviously the first couple of years, I don't know what our total fan base was, but he's correct. We will go over 1 million this year. And but I think we have to look at how it started. It was really to give players a chance, and we, but at the same time, the cost of giving kids a chance, like anything else, when Sarge's kids played and my kids played, the cost of hockey and what the cost of hockey is for young players today. And that cost is probably 10 times more than the cost of Sarge's boys and my kids when they played.
It's getting crazy.
So we feel one of the chances that we have is we're trying to create an environment for when the guys are done playing, either through their college program or through the junior program. We can soften the blow for the parents. They still can enjoy the game. They're not getting paid a lot of money, but they're allowed to play. There's, it's a lot of the fan base is great in a lot of cities, and we're helping players continue their dream and continue playing the sport that they love. And it's affordable for the parents that have been supporting their kids. We know what it costs to play hockey today, and it's so I think we are providing that service, and everybody's happy. The fans are happy, the players are happy. So it's worked out very well for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And anything you wanted to add to that, Sarge?
Well, there's a couple interesting things. Again, it's all the timing. But the Little Flyers, we had a midget team that had 4 NHL draft picks off of one team. Mark Carlson, the current and only coach of Cedar Rapids in the USHL. A player named Steve Shifley was from the Washington area. Jamie Leach, Reggie's son, and my oldest son, Mark, all on the same little team. All 4 were drafted. We also had another interesting thing happen to me as a family. Both of my sons were fortunate enough to play on USA national teams, but Mark played on World Juniors, which isn't quite wasn't what it is now. Today it's unbelievable, but he played in the World Juniors when it was in Alaska for the U.S., of course. And Jamie Leach, his teammate, played in the World Juniors for Team Canada. They played against each other, 2 teammates on the Little Flyers, playing against each other on the world stage. I thought that was a pretty incredible moment for me.
Well, again, the World Juniors, I coached at the Olympic Festival in '95, again, because of the help from Dave Tyler and Iowa trying to help the kids in New York State. But when you make the World Junior team, you're basically one of the top 2 goalies in the United States. And that's a scenario where, it doesn't get much better than that. And I think from the experience that we have coaching at the national level and having players that played at the national level, it gives us the perspective of how to advise players, how to advise coaches. No matter what any coach has done or any owner has done in the league, we can handle that experience and a little bit more. So we try to guide people making the hockey decisions. And between the 2 of us, it's 100 years of experience. So basically, that's the experience that coaches and players have at their disposal in the league. And I think it has to be hockey based. We have the only the NHL, AHL, and us have 4 officials at every game. We have a former NHL official doing our player penalties and so on. He's our safety director. So we have what we think is important for the player safety, and what we think is important for our players is there. And we look out for the benefit of the players. I coached many years. I thought about it a couple of years ago. I won, national championships. We've won, the world championship in Quebec. And most of the time I didn't have a child on the team, and I never was paid. I was a volunteer. It's in one way, it's nice that I did it. Another way, it shows that I wasn't too smart. But whatever the situation was, but we've been there, we've done that, we understand. But I remember one kid came from a very poor family in Boston that was on our junior team, And he was a big guy, very tough, really good fighter. And he was referred to me by Joe Lyons. He was a scout for the Boston Bruins. And we won 19 games in a row with this guy, and we were in first place. And an opportunity came where he could move to a higher league. And we turned down a lot of money for him in the past, and I let him go for free to help the kid out. And then we went on a 10-game losing streak because he was that valuable to the team. But the player, did not make it to the NHL. He made it to the AHL, but, we still keep in contact. He never forgot what we did for him. And that's kind of the way that Sarge has looked at this, the way I've looked at it. The players, we always looked out for them first. That particular team lost in Game 7 in the Canadian final league, the Toronto League you were in. With that player, we'd have easily won the championship. And I would do it all over again. It would just let the player go. I felt that was more important. The player, when he came to us from Boston, had one set of clothes. He had one jacket. He didn't have a second set of clothes. So he came from a very, very poor section of Boston. The agent from the Bruins told me that I couldn't go to his house. It wasn't safe to go in that neighborhood. So it's, but he's very successful now. He works and he's got a nice family. And I think, we helped him. And that's what we try to do in our league. We try to help players along. We try to give them a perspective and help them, guide them through life. And and we try to put the player first. And that's been a big help for us too, is just knowing that that's the way we're looking at it. And we also have the background in hockey to advise players and coaches and owners as to, what's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about the support system within the league, right? So you mentioned about being there to help teams make some hockey decisions and whatnot, and to try to help them along. And one great example of that is with Dave Smith, with his ability and willingness to help teams even on the recruiting aspect and weigh in on on different things with players. And then obviously there's a lot more that you and Sarge are doing as well. You want to expand a little bit on that?
Well, I think Sarge that's Smitty's friend, but he's a player advocate, and he basically does things to help the players and so on. So I think, Sarge, you want to bring Smitty's role into it?
I mean, Smitty, I first met Smitty when I had the junior team, and he had a couple. He was a horse trainer as his career, and he had a couple kids that worked on the farm that were hockey players, and he brought them around, and they were dynamic players. They certainly made the team. So he started traveling with the team, and he's a generous gentleman. He'd pick up lunch for the players once in a while on the road and this and that, and we developed a relationship over time. And, he's 3 times a day. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but he has a great network. He has a good eye for the game. He does what other people get paid to do for free. And he's a player guy. I mean, he'll try to put you where you belong. I mean, he's not going to put somebody in team A who really wants to be on team D or C. He'll try to get you to where you fit, and some people need to stay in certain areas because of family, girlfriends, whatever have you. But he works for everybody for the league. If you need help, you call him and he tries to help you, so, he's a great asset to the league. And any team that wants to use him. Some people don't need his help. Other people rely on his judgment on a regular basis. So we're fortunate to have a guy like Smitty involved because he brings a different perspective, to us too when we're always talking. We got at least 3 people So maybe it's the Three Stooges or whatever, but you got Don, me, and Smitty all discussing ideas, and we all come from a different angle. So in the end, we kind of all agree on a lot of things, whatever we're discussing, and then that's what we go with. So yeah, he's a big asset to the league.
Sometimes a change of scenery is good for a player, and sometimes we can help facilitate that and get the coaches on the work together to try to help the player, and it's worked out very well in the past, and that's, again, it comes back to what's best for the player, and I get back to handing trophies out at the Junior B National Tournament, which I helped organize a lot of those. When you see players that even in our league, when I hand out the trophy, to the team that wins the title every year, I mean, for almost all those players, that's the biggest thing that's happened in their hockey life, and their rings and everything else. It's they'll remember that the rest of their lives, and that's kind of what keeps it fresh. And it's exciting for me to do that and to see the look on their face when they win. It's a good feeling, and it's their best hockey experience ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's one thing that really doesn't change. I mean, people love to win, right? Whether it's a hockey title or a family kickball game in the backyard, people love to win. When there's a competition involved, it's like everything changes. And to win a championship at a professional level is really something that obviously most players never get to experience. I mean, every win is special. I mean, but then especially every championship is special. But now a professional championship, it's like a whole new level.
Correct.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that definitely is. I remember when, like what you said, I mean, when we first started our league, we weren't going to the national tournament. Then something happened where a slot opened up, and we were. So everybody in the league was so friendly with everybody. And then when one team got an opportunity to go to the nationals, they turned on each other immediately, and the whole
all bets are off, right?
Everything changed. Once there was an opportunity for someone to go to the nationals, everybody went after everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, winning is so special, and yes, I mean, it's great to hear more about the support system that exists in the league, and obviously, Sarge mentions Smitty being, a very generous person. I mean, you guys have all made a ton of sacrifice to keep this, to get this league to where it is today, to, keep it going at times. A lot of sacrifice has gone in to get to where, to where the league is today.
Yeah. I often say, cause we've had, I've been fortunate enough to have a dozen guys basically, make it to the NHL. And it's much harder to do this late than it is to get a guy in the NHL. And I know it's involved with things like that, but basically it's much harder.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the biggest biggest things you're looking forward to in the league for the future?
Well, I think that there's opportunity to add more teams. We think that there's different situations that happen where we have to look at expansion and try to get to different areas where I think that everybody is. I see that there's many other places that had hockey that lost it. We were in discussions with the Central Hockey League before they folded to possibly merge, and then they decided to just go their own way and just fold. But they had lost a lot of teams. They had a lot of things happen. So there are other areas that, if you look at our league, over half the league had teams in either the AHL, East Coast, or Southern Pro League or Central League that they had lost sometimes 15, 20, 25 years ago. So I think that our situation is we have to look at is there other opportunities, to to bring minor league hockey to communities. So we're looking at that part of it, and we know that there's thousands of players that want to play. There's thousands of players who want to continue their career. It is expensive to continue. It's expensive to operate, but we're looking for other alternatives, and we're making it in some areas. For example, in Binghamton, we're drawing 1,500 more fans than what they had when they had the AHL team. So we know that there's certain communities that really are ready for this. We just have to find the right balance. Travel is an issue as we start going, outside of our footprint. Remember, we started only in New York State. Now we have teams on the Canadian border, and we have teams in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's a wide swath of the United States, and we are trying to navigate the traveling, which is going to be a big part of as we go forward. How do we maintain the balance of travel and trying to make things work, and that's a key for us.
Yeah, it's exciting to see where the league is going, and it's what we were talking about over the summer. Is like the common theme of the show was the exponential growth in terms of the fan base and the footprint, and like you said, not without its challenges. There's a lot of logistics that have to be ironed out to get these things to get them to work. And I don't think I think that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize how much goes in behind the scenes and the logistics to for all this, where at a certain point the actual hockey becomes like the most simplest part of the whole equation. There's so much that goes into setting everything up to get it to go to the so we get to the point where, hey, we could drop the puck and play hockey.
Well, I think that your business is basically interacts with this business. Is you have players and clients that come to you and say, we need a place. What is the best solution? And obviously a young man has, depending upon whatever his level of play is. I recall, like that team that I was speaking about that had, 5 guys drafted in the NHL. And like I said, one of the players was a player that made the national team. And my daughter actually played on the team. She made the national team. They're not part of the 5. So it was a very good team. We won the state title by, I think, 25 goals, over the 5 games. It was, and we were a minor bantam team. So the top 5 guys, or 10 players, the phone was ringing every night. The bottom 5 guys, the phone never rang. Okay. So it was exciting when they got a phone call. The other people are sick of having phone calls. So you're dealing with players that are both parts of that, and their options are based on, whatever, the phone is ringing. And it's, in today's world, people need, advisors. They need people, that can direct them. That's what you are part of your business, is doing that. And unfortunately, a lot of people listen to the wrong people. And that's what I see has happened in this sport for 30 years. People listen to people that have only been involved for a short period of time, but just because I personally wouldn't advise anybody on tennis, because I don't know that much about tennis, but that doesn't stop other people from advising people in hockey that have never had a good player, never gone anywhere, never coached at the Olympic Festival, never coached a national championship team, but they listen to somebody that's never done anything. And that's your world. You're dealing with people every day that are advising people that don't know very much. And people give their opinion, and based on what they know or what they don't know. And basically it's a situation where a lot of people are misdirected, as you know, and that's part of our part of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that are misdirected, and we try to direct them in the right way. And we try to do the best based on what they have. I think this year, we've had 3 or 4 dozen guys that advanced, to the East Coast League, and we have guys going back and forth. So we're about advancing the player, trying to create the best possible situation, which again is stuff that you're doing, and trying to find the right fit, which is what Smitty's doing, and grow the sport, grow the location, create fans. And for example, we're in Monroe that lost their team 20 or 25 years ago. Now there's 4,000 people plus that show up for a game that didn't go to hockey last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So that's a positive. And I think,
for sure.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an environment where the players are happy, the coaches are happy. Unfortunately, there's a team that wins and a team that loses. So the team that loses, they're not happy most of the time, and it's usually the referee's fault why they lost. But
we'll have to get those guys on here.
Yes, we'll have to do something about the refs that created that. But I know it's a fact with the referees is the reason they lost is the seeing eye dogs bit them just before they got into the ice. So they they have an excuse why they had a rough game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We got everybody's favorite referee, Dave Jackson. That's always on here. And I was thinking the other day, like, when do you become someone's favorite referee? Like, you got to retire first, right? Nobody likes you when you're active.
No, absolutely not. It's no, and it's just, but again, that comes with part of the game. I mean, everybody can have I remember, maybe 5-6 years ago looking at our playoffs, and I saw that Toronto was playing Tampa, and there was 2 penalties called on Toronto, and they showed on the replay that, there were high sticking penalties, and they found that none of them were, they never were high sticks. And it totally turned the game and turned the series around. They're NHL officials. I mean, and so when I saw mistakes made at the NHL level, I mean, I can't really fault the guys that are not in the NHL. I mean, they do the best they can, and we hope that for the most part they don't miss things, or that their judgment is right. But I watch a lot of baseball, and I don't know how many times the first base umpire, misses a call. And it's almost every game they're missing 1 or 2 calls. They're good umpires, but they still miss calls every game.
Yeah, there's going to be human error for sure. And the other thing too, for fans to keep in mind is, if you see a call that was missed, like, hey, that was a, clear cut slash to the back of the legs, the refs are terrible, they missed it. Well, don't discredit the player's ability to be sneaky as well. Like, don't think that these guys aren't taught, hey, if you can catch the ref not looking for a quick second, give the guy a shot in the back of the legs. That absolutely happens. Sometimes these aren't missed calls as much as they are as the player being extremely smart and picking his time.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons we went with the 4th official, because, again, we felt it was money well spent. We don't agree with the leagues that don't have 4 officials at every game. We think that's the NHL has it right. You're supposed to have 4 officials. When I was a kid, obviously that didn't happen. There was only 3, but I believe that's a necessity, and hopefully you can catch things like that. It's a cleaner game. It's a better game, but it is all to do with player safety, and that extra set of eyes does protect players, or at least it's intended to protect players, and it goes with us trying to take care of the players, which is what we felt was important as we started devising things. And when we were told by a referee in chief that we should go to 4 officials, I don't even know if we voted on it, but basically we said, yes, we're doing it. I said, yes, we're doing it. And yes, I've had owners complain to me saying it costs more money, but I think it's money well spent. And And you're never going to be really punished by doing something that the NHL is doing. I mean, if they're doing it,
Right.
they're doing it for a reason. So why would I question what they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's Sarge, anything you want to end off with, and then Don, we'll throw it back to you.
No, I mean, I just think that you never stop learning, and we don't have all the answers. We try to make good decisions. 2020 is always a lot better than when you're trying to make it and when you have more information. But there's we do our best to make the proper decision each and every time, and we don't make them lightly. We try to evaluate what all the information and come up with what we think is fair and reasonable.
Yeah, awesome. Don, final word.
No, it's thank you very much, and we enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you guys both very much for doing this, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. And there you have it. Part 2. Let's do our proof of attendance token code for watching this episode. The proof of attendance token code is going to be FPHL. Enter the code at swanhockey.com on the podcast page, and you'll be eligible to receive your proof of attendance token for watching this episode. The code must be entered by 9 p.m. Eastern, the Wednesday night, the night that this show airs. 9 p.m. Eastern is the cutoff. Collect 5 or more tokens, and you will be able to access the member-only chat in Club Fed in the Swan Hockey Discord server. That's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you for being the best part of this episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass by Swan Hockey. We will see you soon.